You're with the Longevity Channel. I am Helen Hansen, and today we are chatting with Chad Cupido from Dr. Philafel. Hi, Chad.
Hello, Helen. Hello, Helen. How are you?
I am so well, thank you, and so good to have you here chatting about one of my favorite two topics, the skin and, of course, healthy eating, which you are such a inspiration for, not only just the eating, but the whole living, mindful living. That's what I think of when I see you as a person and your brand as well. So tell me a little bit about your story. How did you get into your position where you are now, being the yogi that you are, being the entrepreneur and a leader in healthy living?
So, Helen, the journey started a long time ago. I was always a very, very sensitive person. And when you're sensitive and you're young, you see that in a sense as a weakness because you show your emotion. But when I ate, when I had conversation, the people I interacted with, I was always very, very, aware, and I knew how I felt. And my emotion always came through in a sense. So, from a young age, it was very easy for me to identify that the right food, or the wrong food wasn't good for me. The right people in my environment wasn't good for me. And I always wanted more. I always wanted to do better. From a young age, I was always, interested in self-growth and practices that made me feel good and made other people feel good. And very importantly, I tried my best to surround myself with people who encouraged me to walk a better life, I suppose. So yeah, coming from young, it was always, part of me. My entrepreneurial experience, I from a young age, my first entrepreneurial experience was actually, I was walking around my area and I needed money, and I saw a few dirty cars. And I just decided to get my bucket and get my soap. And I decided to knock on doors. I said, hi, can I wash your car? And you can pay me whatever you feel my work was worth. And I actually made, a couple of $100. And people around me looked at me and said, wow, look at this crazy, young, inspiring man. So I was also, very confident. And yeah.
I can see you doing
was
that, though.
yeah. No, for sure. So yeah, Dr. Falafel and, the yogic journey, it actually started from a young age through my entrepreneurial interest. And from a young age, I also always saw myself as someone who was, very spiritual. It started religious, where I used to go to church, and I was very interested and in faith, and I also had a belief in a supernatural or bigger power. And through that, my religious experiences, I actually grew in spirituality, because something that was important to me wasn't necessarily what the book said, but what the person who read the book lived, how they lived, and and how they followed the teachings. So from a young age, at 12 years old, I was a born-again Christian. At 14 years old, I went through Rastafarianism. At about 15, 16 years old, I went to mosque. My stepfather's Muslim, so I followed. I was very interested in the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Islam. And then at 17, 18, I started meditating. So obviously, Buddhism and Hinduism became very, very interesting to me. So I don't know what I am. I'm actually omniist. Omni means one, and one of my brands is called Omni Media or Omni Yoga. It's my yoga studio. So yeah, my brands in a sense are a reflection of my life experiences and who I am.
That's brilliant, and all done in such a short space of time.
Yes.
So
28 short years. Actually, I'm 29. Yeah.
You are going to be, or you are, one of the featured speakers on the Longevity Channel's Skin Health webinar coming up in September.
Yes, very excited about that.
Well, we are already in September, 9th of September to be more precise. And I just wanted to, look, I know we're going to go into detail in the webinar, but is there something short that you can share now in terms of a skin health hack? What can people do right now that they can actually do at home that's not going to cost them a fortune? They don't have to go to a spa.
Okay, so something that I'm very passionate about is plant-based lifestyle. And with plant-based lifestyle, obviously there's no meat and there's no dairy. Once you stop eating dairy, naturally, I think your skin becomes much more radiant. Dairy, I don't have an issue with dairy. I just think dairy is very rich. And when something is very rich, it's obviously very mucus producing. And wherever there's mucus, in a sense, there is disease, and it normally manifests. Also, the first line, you can see it happening in the skin. With me, when I was younger and I ate a lot of dairy and meat, I had, lots of skin issues. I had acne. It was something that really, in a sense, affected me and my confidence. And once I quit or I became plant-based, I went vegetarian first. My skin got much better, and then vegan, the acne was gone. So, I firmly believe that once you stop, you transition to a plant-based diet, you naturally, your skin gets much better.
Do you have any cravings for dairy?
Actually, once you stop for, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks, and you go back onto dairy, you'll start noticing that dairy doesn't really, doesn't agree with you. Once you, for me, for example, if I have any dairy or meat, sometimes I'll have it in a muffin if I go to family. I'm not like 100% strict. A lot of the vegans are going to jump down my throat because I'm not 100% vegan, but good luck with them as well. But if I have like, anything dairy, I immediately feel it in my nose. I can immediately, I know the next day I'm probably going to have a pimple. And it, 90% of the time that is the case. So, I'm living proof of it as well. I have experimented with it. And once you go back, you'll realize it's not really for your body will actually reject it, and it will show you, it will show you somehow, either in your nose or in your skin or in your mood.
And I see, you've got a lot of energy. So it's obviously not that you are missing meat to the point that you're needing to supplement. You are filling all those gaps with the right plant nutrition, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I would say a lot of people, when they become plant-based or they, they become vegan, it doesn't mean you're automatically healthier. I would say that because I eat, less, or I eat no meat or dairy, I just have so much more space for other things. So you naturally become a bit more inquisitive because you need to, fill that gap, if I may put it that way. So now I eat a variety of things, and because of that, I feel like I'm healthy as well. So it's not just because I quit meat and dairy, it's because now I've added so much more foods. And there's thousands of other options. People think dairy and milk is like, if that's gone, like 50% of what you can potentially eat is gone. It's totally untrue. There's so much food out there. There's so many different colors. There's so many different textures. There's so many different tastes. There's so many different meat-like alternatives that in today's life is not really an excuse, So it's not like 20 years ago or even 2 or 3 years ago when I became vegan. Today, there's a meat alternative for everything. It tastes better, it makes you feel better, and we're even getting it cheaper now as well. So it's very, very interesting times that we are living in.
Absolutely. Just picking up on your variety comment there, that's the key to optimal gut health. And of course, our gut health, if that's there, if that is supported, we're going to see that reflected in the skin as well. So I'm so excited to hear more of what you've got to share with us. I know you're going to be sharing some movement practices that people can use at home to get the skin breathing and breathing exercises. So if you still need to sign up for the webinar that Chad is going to be featured on, please do so. It is free from the 9th to the 16th of September, and you will see the link mentioned below, the longevity code.coza. You just go put in your email, and then you will get the link to the webinar. So just make sure you check your email for that. I'll be seeing you soon on the webinar, Chad. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Helen. Have a great day further.
And you too.